Hi guys, this is the first of the informative videos for Hyperdimension Neptunia Re Birth 1. Just a quick warning, if you've never played through the game before and you're interested in seeing the story or anything like that, don't watch these videos because these will contain spoilers, things like characters you can use and things like that. So that's just a warning just beforehand. So if you are interested in learning the story of Rebirth 1, or if you're watching the other Let's Play and you want to see how that develops, I would really advise not watching these videos. I will show them differently when I upload them so you don't accidentally click on one. But these are more for people who might have played through the game once and realise that there's a lot of things that they haven't been able to do. So it's just more informative, just to let people know where certain things are. That kind of thing. I'll also show some fights against some of the tough monsters. I won't be able to show all of them yet because I'm not high enough level. So without further ado, I think I'll show you my current party. So if you are interested in a spoiler-free game, I would stop watching now because I'm going to show the party now. So you can see, I mean, our party's at around level 150-ish. With the exception of Pishi, who is 172. The reason for that is because she has a passive experience up ability. So you can see we're using like Levitin, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, Levitin I think, and the Celestia Bangle for Neptune. That you get, I'll just cover that one now. The Celestia Bangle you get from the true ending of the game. When you fight True Arfois at the end of the game, if you have unlocked the conditions for the true ending, which are, you have to have the others, which if I show you the map, you can see at the top right of the screen, you've got the shares for each of the nations and you've got the others share as well, which represents like Arfois. You need to have that at 0%. And then all of the other nations have to have at least 20% shares. I decided to go with 25 for each just to make sure. Once you've done that condition, you need to have all that done before you trigger the event in Road to Celestia in Chapter 8. And if you do it right, what will happen is after you beat the first Arfois, you'll actually get a fight against the second one. I won't spoil what happens in the actual story regarding it, but all I'll say is you fight True Arfois again, and the second time you fight her, she drops the Celestia Bangle, which is one of the best, if not the best, defensive item in the game. So we've got Mages with a Taurus Rod, which again is one of her best weapons. I'll cover all these so you can see, how you get them. You can see as well that compared to my other Let's Play file, most of these are customised in some way. I don't really use IF much, so I don't really bother with her. So I think what we'll cover first for this first episode is one thing that a lot of people want to know about, and that's how would you get the swimsuits for the characters, because, fan service. First of all, you need to unlock the plan for the swimsuit. Generally you unlock those through chirper events as you go through the game. For example, for Mages, if I just go to the plans for outfits, Mages is Mage Checkers. That unlocks as a chirper event, so you need to keep an eye on the chirpers to make sure you don't miss them. I think it's just after you get Mages back in your party. When she joins you after destroying all the killer machines, and I think it's about chapter 4. But you probably won't be able to make the swimsuit because the items you need. So you need, and you can see that to actually make the plan for any of these swimsuits, you need 3 tiny outfits, 3 soluble cloth, and 3 wicked hearts. So the first thing you need is the tiny outfits. Tiny outfits drop from tiny outfits drop from Speckles in Gates Forest. So it's these little guys with the wings, these are Speckles. So there you see we've got a tiny outfit there. So that's where you get the tiny outfits from. Nice and easy. Obviously if you don't have any of these dungeons unlocked, generally if you don't have one unlocked it's because it's usually a treasure or a hidden treasure in another dungeon. Like the actual plan will be. So for example the plan for Gates Forest might be, the plan might actually be a drop in another dungeon. What it tends to do though is there'll be like a chain of dungeons, so you might have to unlock say 3 or 4 other dungeons before you get to the one you want. So that's Gates Forest, that's how you get the tiny outfit. So the next thing you need is the Soluble Cloth. Soluble Cloth is the one that's the problem for the swimsuits, because generally it's quite an awkward dungeon to unlock. There's a lot of unlock conditions to unlock this dungeon, which is the Snow Forest. But that's easily findable information. You can find where to unlock that fairly easily, but it does take quite a bit of work to go through and unlock quite a few other dungeons first. So the enemy that drops the Soluble Cloth is an enemy called Snowboy. It's one of the little like Pac-Man ghost-like enemies. There's barely any enemies in this area, which is a bit of a problem. But it's these guys here, the ones without the bows on the head. That was the best dodge ever. So it's these guys, these snow boys. There are snow girls as well, but they drop something different. Quite funny playing this save file after playing the Let's Play one actually, because the characters are so much stronger. So you can see there we've got some Soluble Cloths. This is probably the hardest one to get because the drop rate doesn't seem that good on them either. Quite often you'll kill the enemies and they won't drop it. And that is the only snowboy in the area as well. I think there might be another enemy you can fight that sometimes has snowboys with it, but that's the only guaranteed one. So that's where you get the Soluble Cloth from. And the third item is Wicked Hearts. For Wicked Hearts you need to fight Strange Person, which are an enemy in Avenir Storage 4. This is probably the easiest one to get. So it's these guys with the weird hover thing around them. So you see, we've got a Wicked Heart there. Just another thing for this dungeon, there is actually a gathering point round here. Yeah, sometimes that gathering, not always like it wasn't there, but sometimes that gathering point will have Wicked Hearts as well. So then once you've got 3 of each of those items, that's enough to create one of the plans. I mean, it might be worth just staying in each of the areas for a while and collecting quite a few of each of the materials so you can just unlock them all at the same time. Then once you've actually unlocked them, and you can then go to the shop and buy them. There is exceptions to these, and I'll come to them in a minute, but if you go to the clothes bit, you can see there, Mage checkers. The swimsuits, they're 500,000 credits for any of the maker characters, which is characters like Magus, Falcon, Broccoli, CyberConnect 2 and so on. The CPU candidates for theirs, the planned materials are exactly the same, but the differences are, one, they only cost 150,000 instead, but I think to get the plans for the CPU candidate swimsuit, you have to unlock all of the CPU candidates. I know that mine didn't seem to be available until I unlocked ROM and RAM. So that covers those, those swimsuits. So you've got like, I've only unlocked a few so far, but I've got the one for Tekken there. one for Marvelous AQL. There's a couple of others I've unlocked as well. The only other ones in the game are, there is a swimsuit for Neptune and there's a swimsuit for Noire as well, but those are really hard to get. To get those, I won't actually be able to show you how to get them because I'm nowhere near high enough level for it. But if you go to the, I think it's the guild. Yeah, it's these two quests. So there's Proof of the Wild, which gives you Cassie Raya, which is Noire's swimsuit, and Cat Boxer gives Colourful Lime, which I think is Neptune's swimsuit. They're only E-rated quests, and you only get 10,000 credits for them. But the reason they're so hard is because they drop in the DLC dungeons. So first of all, you need the DLC to be able to get them. I can't remember what dungeon Neptune's drops in. It was Cat Boxers, I think, wasn't it? They had to kill. Yeah, Boxer Cats. I think I know where they are actually. Yeah, so they're both in Noma Cave. Now, Noma Cave is a dungeon that it's around level 300. So, I mean, at the minute I get killed in a couple of hits, even with like the level 150 party. And the problem is you actually need to kill enemies as well, so it's not as if it's just gathering materials in there. You actually need to kill, I think it's the exhausted jellies for Noire's and the boxer cats for Neptune's, and once you've killed enough of them, you just hand the quests in, you'll get their swimsuit. The problem with that is just leveling up enough to be able to survive the enemies. That's one thing I will say about the DLC dungeons, they are incredibly high level, so don't just walk into them if you're low level. So anyway, that's how to get the swimsuits in Rebirth 1. I will do a few more of these type episodes, just showing you where different things are. But anyway, that's how you get all the swimsuits. If you've got any questions or anything, just leave them in the comments and I'll try and answer them. I know that unlocking some of the dungeons can be a bit of a pain. There's certain unlock routes you've got to do, and some of them involve having to get certain plans early in the game, which you might not have, so then you might have to do another run through the game. I mean, this is my third run through, and I've just about got everything. So it can be a bit of a pain, there's a lot of rerunning through, but you know, it's worth it in the end, I suppose. So if you've got any questions, just leave them below, and I'll try and answer them when I can. So thanks for watching.